Well, there is no greater feeling than when a groom turns to see his bride and has tears in his eyes because she's so beautiful.
Oh.
Or because his family failed the application process to attend the wedding. Okay, here's the story. A young bride decided that she would navigate who received an invitation to her February wedding and who would not. And she asked people to apply to attend her wedding. Yep. I mean, what's worse than a job interview? A wedding guest interview, I would think. So the bride-to-be had her sister ask friends online if she's wrong to refuse to RSVP to the big day, since she's got to apply for a spot at her brother's wedding. Now, to be fair to the bride, it's a destination wedding, and she's having to cut the guest list in half because of the pandemic. So she's sending re-invites, but requesting that people submit 2 250-word essays, one for each of 2 questions that she's going to pose to help determine the yeses and the nos as to who gets to come to her wedding.
Wow.
The bride says enthusiasm will be the key to passing the test. No essay equals instant disqualification. So the future sister-in-law said she felt insulted and felt like her future sibling just wanted people to kiss her wedding train.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Now, by the way, the 2 essay questions are, number 1, why do you still want to celebrate this day with us? And number 2, what will attending our wedding mean to you specifically? Mm-hmm. Boy, my answers would be, 1, because I have to for my brother and the groom, and 2, attending your wedding will mean it starts with a high school essay and ends with me paying for flights, hotels, and a present for you and my brother.
So there.
Yeah. I wonder if you don't get picked, she sends you a home version of the game. I mean the wedding. Folks, there have been some crazy wedding stories reported by us, but this one has to be a finalist for Bridezilla of the Year. And I'll bet someday somebody's gonna tell that groom to get a new car for your wife, and he'll say, I'll make that trade. Moving on.
Yeah.
From our Beware a Woman Scorned file, a British woman named Mel thought her husband Marty was sure working hard, and what with all the computer time and business trips overseas that he was putting in. But then she spotted this message on his laptop. Miss you, hurry home, XXX. Ooh. It led to her finding months worth of messages from her husband's secret girlfriend. So when he left on his next monkey business trip, she had a plan. Mel gave Marty a warm goodbye, and then she took care of a few items on her revenge list. First and foremost, selling their house. Ooh. Including their infinity pool and everything. Ooh. Now, while Marty was no bargain, the people who bought the house couldn't believe the deal they got.
I bet.
And Mel, she got a new personal bank account filled to the brim with cash.
Whoa. You know, Governor, my wife's not only beautiful, she is smart.
Yeah.
I mean, really, very, very smart. Yesterday, I told her, you know, honey, our kids are so spoiled. And she said, all kids smell that way. And I was like, well, I mean, it makes sense to me, so.
Well, Governor, I've got a very serious comment based on this story. It made me realize there are 3 situations that always require witnesses.
Yeah?
They are crimes, accidents, and marriages. I think that's all I got to say.
I think that says it all.
Yeah.
Well,
A witness.
I will say I'm glad neither of you are relationship experts. I mean, you'd starve to death for lack of business. Let's get back to our story. So when Marty arrived home from his romantic rendezvous, he discovered a young couple named Josh and Tamara living in his former house.
Whoa.
And they had no room for him. I think that's when he realized his wife had left and why storms are often named after women. Mm-hmm. And his wife, Mel, lived out the old adage, while you can't make a man treat you right, you can sure make him wish he did. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good for Mel. I think everybody's on her side. All right, Dateline, Seoul, South Korea. We all know that money laundering is not a good idea, but that goes double for a Korean citizen who wanted to be sure that 50,000 of his cash, known as the won, was COVID-free. So what did he do? He put all those bills in the washing machine. And he quickly found out the idea was corona wrong.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. You see, some of the money was damaged beyond use, so this money launderer asked the Bank of Korea to exchange the clean but unusable bills for new ones. The bank offered to replace 507 of the mutilated bills for half the face value. Think about that. If I laundered 50,000 US dollars and got $507, I'm going to tell you that would hurt. But a bank official did say if the bills were slightly damaged, they could have been replaced for full value. But these babies had been through the ringer, if you know what I mean. By the way, the bank also noted that another customer had microwaved a pile of won, hoping to disinfect it. That customer was also disappointed to learn that bills no longer able to be used were not replaceable if they are no longer recognizable.
Makes sense.
Well, it does make sense. So what's the lesson here regarding money? I feel it's this one thing. Grime doesn't pay.
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
Now, I was going to go with you won some, you lose some, but then I thought when cashiers asked that poor Korean how he was going to be paying for things, he'd be saying, not at all. That's what he would be saying. Well, they say that you can find everything on Google Maps. One woman found that she was the butt of jokes after a sharp-eyed web surfer spotted the Google Maps photo of her house. It had been taken the very second after she took a fall in her driveway. Her head was inside her toppled garbage can, and her rear end was sticking out of it.
This cannot be true.
Her posterior was preserved for posterity. Yeah.
Governor, do you know why New York has lots of garbage and Los Angeles has lots of lawyers?
No, I have no idea.
Because New York got to pick first.
Oh.
Yeah.
Somehow I believe that's probably true.
Yeah.
You know,
lawyers
Keith,
in the audience? Only.
I hope we don't get sued for what you just said.
Yeah, me too.
But by the way, do you know what kind of training you need to become a garbage collector?
Can't think of anything.
Well, you don't need any. You just pick it up as you go along.
Oh.
All right, let's get back. We'll get back to the trash, literally. The picture of the lady seemingly rooting in a garbage can went viral, but she'd better hope that raccoons don't have Google Maps, or they're going to be coming to her house for a little trash talk, is what's going to happen. And while we're on the subject of trash, the owners of a bed and breakfast in St. John's, Michigan, removed the flag of their ancestors that flew on their house after getting hate mail accusing them of being bigots and Confederate sympathizers. That didn't go over really big in Michigan. Of course, none of those angry cancel culture folks recognized that it was not a Confederate flag. It was the flag of Norway, which to those goons, that's a country over in Europe, people. I'm sure that you remember the famous Confederate general, Stonewall Johansson.
Yeah.
And his efforts at the Battle of Bull Run. And by the way, do you know why the Norwegian Navy has barcodes on all their battleships? Huh?
No.
Well, that way when they return, they can scan the Navy in.
Oh!
You see what I did there? You see? Yeah. All right. All right, before we leave you, we wanted to share a wonderful bit of fantasy from the internet. What if actor Nicolas Cage had been cast in even more than the 100-plus movies that he's already starred in? Like Star Wars. What if he portrayed the role of Princess Caja? Huh? Or if he was in E.T. as the extra Nick Estriel.
Oh.
Or maybe he could be Napoleon Dynamite.
That's my favorite.
You like that one?
Yeah.
I do too. Or what about in the role of a lifetime? Nick Cage as Wonder Woman. I admit they're pretty ridiculous, okay? Well, just like a casting director who could make those mistakes, we got to get out of here. But always remember that we read the news.
So you don't have to.
Wait, don't click that button. Well, unless it was the subscribe button, and then carry on. And while you're down there, hit that little notification bell too. Oh, and if you leave a like and a comment, I will personally give my dog Toby a treat. Leave a like, feed a dog, as I always say.